Hello everyone, VanguardOfValor here, and welcome to the Pit. This is, of course, Sword of the Stars, the Pit, which is interesting because the other Sword of the Stars game have nothing to do with this. They're not this kind of roguelike game at all, but that's fine. We are going to be playing the Pit, and it should be a wonderful adventure. Let's take a look here at what we got going. So let's start ourselves a new game on normal. I would suggest you start on easy when you start off the game, because that'll help you find the crafting recipes to make the rest of your life easier. But here's what we got. We have 3 classes we can pick from. Toshiko Hoshinara, the Scout. We have Travis Hudson, the Marine, and Demba Mbale, the Engineer. Some pretty awesome guys here. They all have their different skill. Cool, Scout's not a guy, but you get the idea. The Engineer here is very skilled with doing things related to computers and electronics, opening things. He's very good at getting into various locked items to give you access to more stuff. On the other hand, his fighting skills start off very weak. So, he's very good at doing some things, but of course has his weaknesses as well, and the other characters more or less represent that. The Marine over here is basically the opposite. He has much better weapons and gear to start out with, and his skills are heavily focused on actually using his weapons. On the other hand, the Scout is sort of the middle ground, with a variety of weapon and resource skills, making her a decent medium. On the other hand, they also level up in different ways. The Marine levels up with a heavy focus on attributes, getting 3 points per level up, whereas the Scout only gets 1, and the Engineer only gets 2, meaning you can level up your strength or your agility or your intelligence faster. That's not exactly the names they use here. They have might, finesse, and brains, but that's basically the idea. And the Scout levels up skills much faster, getting 8 per level up, whereas I believe the Engineer gets 6 and the Marine gets 4. What that means is you can level up more skills quicker as the Scout, meaning overall by the end you'll be more skilled. That's the idea, but your attributes won't be quite as powerful. So there's a trade-off either way. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying the Scout today. Most of my game wins have been with the Engineer, but I want to try someone different, and I have a feeling the Scout should be pretty good if I can never get past the first couple floors with them. So we'll do our best here, and we'll see what happens. Let's go. So we're going to erase our previous progress, because it was just a game on level 1 that I had been playing earlier. And what do we got here? Well, there's a lot of stuff on screen. Let's explain a little bit what we see. Here's us, our main character here. We have our inventory we can get to with I. There's a variety of different things in here which will become useful later. We have our knife and our pistol, our 2 weapons. We're going to equip them to our hotkeys here so we can get access to them more easily. We also have some ammunition for our pistol, which we'll have to keep track of and try not to waste. We also have some food. We have a med kit, which we can use to heal ourselves, but this is not an instant heal, so if something is currently attacking us, it'll do damage before the heal happens, which is something good to note. We have our armor, we have lockpicks, and 2 types of grenades. We're going to use this button to sort them all automatically, which is a very nice little tool, helps you keep things organized. And what's this, of course? This is a scavenger bot, one of the first enemies we're going to see. We're normally going to be trying to use our knife to kill everything here, because it doesn't use ammunition. It will wear out pretty quickly, but since it's a Dur knife, it'll last longer than a normal knife. But we are just going to shoot at it with the auto pistol here. Bang, bang, that is a dead robot. We got a bunch of experience, 109 in fact. We can reload our pistol with R to make sure we're never low on ammo. And generally, we're going to try and make sure that things keep working out in our favor. Now, if you take a look here at a specific weapon, you can see its durability. It says 30 out of 30 durability. You can tell its accuracy, its damage, how much it penetrates armor, that kind of thing. How long it takes to reload. A knife doesn't take any reload time. How many times you can attack in one instant with it, because we'll get into that in a second. And it works basically the same way for everything. By going over to another weapon with one weapon selected, you see the comparison to the one you've got. So this is less accurate and does less damage, has less penetration, but it is a knife and not a gun, so that's kind of to be expected. So that's that. We can also see there's some blacker areas on the map here. That's where we can't see. So there might be stuff there, but we don't get to find out what it is until we get closer. And there's also a black space behind you, because you can't see directly behind you when you're moving around. So that'll move to follow us as we move around the map. You can move in one space by holding control and hitting an arrow key, which is a very useful skill because it doesn't take up a turn. Now, we can investigate this rot pile here by pressing spacebar next to it. It'll tell us the odds of us being able to find anything in there based on our foraging skill, and we can hit OK and it'll search. There we go, we found a food pellet inside, and it leveled up our foraging skill. Up until I believe level 45 on each skill, you will level up every time you successfully do something, or more or less, depending on if it's a combat skill. But that's interesting to know as well. So, you can also see here we have 2 moves. This is a roguelike game, so every time we take actions, the enemies take actions as well. We can act twice in one turn before the enemies get to move, and then they get to turn. If we do something like attack, like we're going to knife this rat, that instantly ends our turn and the other rats will get to move. So there I let them move during my turn by hitting X to end my turn early, because I didn't want to necessarily walk into the rats and give them an easy chance to attack me. Of course, I'm missing this rat a bunch of times now, and I didn't kill him that one, which is unfortunate. But you get the idea. By letting them attack by letting them come to me, I don't necessarily have to walk directly next to them and let them attack me with no issues. We have another one of these bots here. We're just going to shoot them again. You don't necessarily have to shoot them. I like shooting them, though. Oops. What did it... Oh. Interesting. Change the zoom there. We are going to be trying to make it all the way down to the bottom of this here pit. It is 30 floors deep, so this might take a while, but we're going to do our best to get down to the bottom and see what we can see. Now we got more rats. These first couple floors are really not a big deal. You can more or less just stomp your way through all of them. It starts to get more dangerous later on. We have 2 bats over here. We could try and shoot them, but we don't really want to waste our ammunition as much as possible, so we're just going to try and knife all these guys. Get over here and get knifed. I got a knife with your name on it here. Come on. Well, it doesn't necessarily say ice bat, but you get the idea. And enemies, of course, can drop all manner of goodies for you. They all have specific things they can drop based on what they are. We have some bone slivers, we have a sonic nodule, and some bindings here. We can pick all those items up with G, and that will let us do more things in the future. Basically, everything in the game has some kind of purpose, but what it actually does, there's some moldy bread, depends on what it is. Some things are used as crafting ingredients, some things are used directly as food. We're not too worried about most of them. We're going to hold on to most things for a while because we have a pretty big inventory starting out with the Scout. It's not enormous, but it's bigger than what the Engineer starts out with, I believe. Now we're going to come over this way. Is there anything else hiding in here? We did level up a while ago, so we'll probably level up soon on this floor. I don't normally like leveling up when we have plenty of health because leveling up does instantly fill this health bar. This is your food bar, by the way, which is a different thing. We'll get into that when it gets a bit lower. But in the early stage of the game, you generally don't get enough experience to level up too much. The problem is, you level up based on the things you've been doing partially, which I'll explain in a second. This is interesting, a mutation serum. We'll use that later, most likely. And in the early stages, you haven't done enough different things to really be able to benefit from a level up. We're going to come down here, and we're on a new floor now. We're into the actual pit itself, this kind of strange, destroyed base. So there's lots of stuff here. There's a destroyed lab, there's a open safe, and there's a giant rat. This mutant rock rat's going to try and poison us if he manages to hit us, so we'll hopefully be able to stab him before he poisons us. Good. Now I don't want to fight too much stuff here because we will level up, so I'm just going to level up to make sure we don't waste what we've got so far. We hit C, and this will give us access to this. So what we see here is the various skills and stats we can level up. We only get 1 point per level for the skills, or the stat points, which is not great, but we take it in 8 skill points instead, so that's our counterbalance there. In the early game, this isn't quite as useful, but later on, you get to level up a lot of stuff. So here we have 1 point. We're going to be putting all of our stat points into might. The reason I always put my stat points into might, especially with this character, they start with high finesse, so you don't really need to level that up anymore. The brains are fine as it is as well for the most part, but leveling up your might, every 10 levels you put into it increases your inventory size, and inventory is a big deal in this game. This also increases, I believe, your health and your hunger bar maximum. Might just be your hunger max. I think you must level up health as you level up normally, I believe. Yeah, it's just your food bar, but that's fine. So, we level up. That's great. Time to kill some more bats. We need to get these guys out of here. Come on now, bats. Not interested in dealing with you. Okay, because there's all kinds of other things to search for here. As you see, we leveled up our foraging skill there from successfully finding some rotten cheese. And this is what I was looking for. There are locked doors as well. A lot of these areas, and there's a trapped door as well, which is also interesting. A lot of these doors are locked in this game. You can unlock them, if you can try at least, using your lock-picking skill, which is one of the things you just have at the beginning. Kill these guys. We have some raw meat and a scent gland. We'll take those. Just by walking up to them and hitting spacebar, you'll attempt to unlock them. It'll show you how good you are at unlocking them. And you can, if you have a lockpick set, engage this to boost your skill pretty significantly. This boosts your skill by, what, 65? Which is huge! But for a door, we don't want to waste these, because these will be great for getting into locked weapon crates and things like that, which have valuable resources in them. Whereas a door, even if we fail it, we get 3 tries before it stays permanently locked, so it's not a big deal if we don't succeed. We are going to come and unlock all the doors we find because they give us experience and level up our ability at lockpicking, at least for these early stages. Now, what we have here are some interesting little things. We have a door trap on here, there's a black door trap up above. Those are all randomly generated door trap effects, which means that when you walk through that door, something happens to you. Now, some of them are good and some of them are bad, but some of them are really bad. Some of them disintegrate some of your inventory, and there is a way around that if you drop everything. There's a drop all button in your inventory, which is this one. It just dumps everything you have on the floor. We can do that to make sure it doesn't destroy our stuff, but it's a bit tedious, and I've come to just start avoiding the door traps, because for the most part, they're not worth the trouble. Occasionally I'll go through them, though, just to see what we get, but it's not something I try to do for the most part. Now we're going to murder off more of these Zoolings and try and venture deeper into the pit. So we'll try and fight this guy with a knife. The big reason I don't want to fight him with a knife for the most part is because every time he attacks us, it has a chance of damaging our armor. With weaker armor, it gets damaged a lot faster, so the early armor you get in the beginning has a tendency to die off rather quickly. And that gets to be a problem, because if you have no armor, you can be in some serious trouble. Now here is the entrance to the next floor. We're not going to go down yet because there's plenty of this floor left, and we have a very low chance of getting in this thing, so we're going to leave that stasis field until we've finished more of this floor and potentially found something that can help us level up our computer skills so we won't fail quite so hard. We're going to use X to let these rats get a bit closer to us because I really don't want to get hit by all of them simultaneously, although it looks like it's going to happen anyway. Knife them, please. There we go. And knife them. I'm surprised we haven't got poisoned yet, really. Alright, raw meat, no more rats. Things are looking good here. Nothing in that pile, unfortunately. Another ruined surveillance console. There's a lot of broken stuff that we'll find. But that's fine, because we can basically ignore that stuff for the most part. There's some ammo crates in here, which are huge in this stage of the game. Getting more ammo for your pistol is a big deal. Unfortunately, we got rifle ammo, but that's okay. Foraging is a very useful skill, though, because it's basically used for everything like this. This gives us foraging and mechanical skill, because we have to force those boxes open. And now we have a bunch of rifle ammo, which we might eventually be able to use if we ever find a gun that uses that kind of ammo. We can check our map with M, we can see there's nothing left on this floor, so we might as well head down deeper. But before we do, we are going to try our luck with the stasis field. Who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll be able to get in. Now that's one of the issues with taking somebody who's not the engineer. We couldn't get in there because we didn't have those skills up high enough. The engineer, oh hello, you need to get shot. A strangler is a very dangerous enemy in the early game because they have like a bola they throw at you, which has a tendency to strangle you for pretty humongous damage. So now they're dead, we don't have to worry about them, we can worry about killing all these Zoolings, which shouldn't be too difficult. There we go, get stabbed. That's what I'm talking about. Getting stabby up in here. I'm going to grab all these things. We got an interesting item there. Tarka Warbread is good for making specific kinds of foods. I believe it makes one of the most powerful foods in the game, so I haven't experienced all of them yet, but it's definitely a good one. Before we move any further here, we're going to check our map. Okay, so we're about in the middle of the map. It doesn't really matter where we go first. This is probably the bottom, though, so we might head back down there once we deal with this guy, which we're going to do by shooting him. There we go. No mercy for robots. Oh, come on now. He survived. So since we hit him with one of those bullets, we're just going to knife him, because that should kill him in 2 hits. There we go. One of the issues with the robots as well is if you injure them and don't kill them, they might run away. Now we have a different problem. We've been infected with a disease. Disease. Oh, disease. The thing about diseases are, if you're walking around and diseased, over time, there's a good chance your disease will go away. But diseases have a chance to not go away and to just constantly get worse. Now, that's a problem, because if your disease gets up to level 5, it can kill you, which is never fun. There are ways to deal with disease, but in the beginning, you don't have a whole lot of access to them. So what we're going to do right now, good, the disease went away on its own, so we don't have to worry about it. Normally, what I do is I wait till the disease gets worse. If it gets up to level 2, you can use one of these Terran medkits to reduce the disease by 1 level, and later in the game we'll have other things to deal with it. But generally, if you reduce the disease by 1 level, it doesn't start rising again. It'll start reducing after that point. So you hold on to these until you hit level 2, rather than wasting them on level 1 when they might cure themselves. On the other hand, we are going to spend our level up here to give us a bit of free healing and to level up some more of our different skills. If we try this now, we'll be able to put another point into might like we said, and we can see there's a bunch more points here that cost only 1 instead of 2 of our available skill points. And it looks like I didn't spend my skill points last time? That's pretty silly of me. Whoops. Well, we have them now anyway. So we can put some points into things. We're going to put some points into foraging, some points into knife use, some points into using our pistol, some mechanical skill, some lockpick. As you can see, you get a number of points between 1 and 3 when you level them up, and that's also random. So there are a lot of random elements in this game. We're going to spend a bunch of these points here on other things as well, because we don't want to leave our skills at nothing, even if they do cost a little bit more. We're going to go for computer and electronics, because they're useful skills, even though we can't put a lot of stuff into them early on. And I guess we'll level up Blade as well, because that's a useful one in the later game. And we'll hold on to... 5 is a lot to hold on to, though. What else do we want to put our points into? I guess we could use Decipher. That one will be useful if we ever find anything to decipher with it. I don't know. I guess we'll hold on to those 3. That'll be fine. In the later game, having more points is really useful because you can do more things. In a level that takes much longer than they do now, you do a lot more different actions, which means a lot more things cost 1 point. So you can get a lot more nice, cheap upgrades, which is very useful. As it stands now, it's not the biggest deal, but it will be later. Kill some more monsters. Let's see what we can find in here. We gotta look for guns. There's just a couple things we're looking for. One of them is guns, one of them is armor, and the other one is basically food. Those are the things you constantly need. Ammo, guns, armor, and food. Anything else is supplementary or is simply a means to those ends. As we finish exploring this floor, we'll hopefully find some of those things. There are definitely some cool items, though. Oh, come on. See, if we fail this now, we've done 2 failed lock attempts here. If we failed this one, we're going to be in trouble because an alarm's going to sound and the door is permanently locked. There we go. What that means is it'll generally bring enemies over to you. If you haven't gone and found them yourselves, they will be brought to you and you'll have to deal with them all at the same time. Ah, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. Oh, and I just stepped in a poison trap. There are traps all over the game, and some of them do things like this and poison you. Some of them are explosives. Some of them are all kinds of different things, and they're nasty. I think explosives and poison are the only 2 ones, actually. There might be acid as well, actually. Either way, they're evil. You step on them, and they hurt you. You can try and hit enemies with them, but for the most part, they're not as dangerous to them as they are to you. The cloud does go away if you move. Of course, if you're not moving, time doesn't pass in the game, which is why it was just sitting there. Poison is different from disease, though. Poison will always go down over time, but it hurts a lot, as every time you take an action, you take the level of poison in damage. So this does 3 damage to us every time we take an action, and can potentially damage our attributes temporarily, which is not good either. We're going to try and open this here, though, because a secure weapons locker is awesome. This could potentially have some great stuff in it. We have a very low chance of getting in, but that's why we have these lock picks. Boosting ourselves up to 78% is way better. However, yeah, I'll do this, because we can't get any more free ones easily. Go for it. Can we get in here and find something awesome? I hope we can. We can! Oh, there's nothing awesome in here. EMP grenades are going to be very useful because we will come across some nasty robots early on, and the ballistics repair kit will help us make sure that our auto pistol doesn't get destroyed. But I was hoping for something a little more powerful, but that's fine. We're taking a lot of poison damage, though, and there's not a lot I can do about it right now. Basically, what we're hoping for is for the poison to level down quickly, and then if I need to, I can use my med kit to help. So we have poison got reduced to level 2 there. That's good, but not perfect. There's another secure weapons locker, so we might get something else good from that. One of the other things to keep an eye on is that if something actually fails, if you fail to get into something, you can get some nasty, nasty side effects. We'll open here this. See what we get. Come on. Ah, memory optimizer. That's an interesting one in the early game. Helps you level up quicker. But, yeah, some bad things can happen to you if you fail to open up an object. They can explode, they can electrocute you, they can destroy some of your items. We have cured our poison there a little bit. I think I am going to use this medkit, though, because running around with this amount of health was like 12, something really low, is not a good idea. So using our medkit will take up one of the charges on it. It's down from 5 to 4 more uses before it's used up, but it will heal us up a fair amount. Open up this here. What can we get? 100% is exactly what we want, and by 199 there is a chance to fail those. And that one just had ammo in it, unfortunately. Oh, it had another auto pistol in it. That's good. We can equip that as well. We have 2 of these now. It's kind of silly to have 2 of them, but it means we can shoot twice as much because we don't have to reload necessarily, which could potentially be useful. Or if one of them winds up breaking through some fluke, we have another one as backup. There's a bunch of different things we'll potentially be able to do with them. More enemies to kill, that's fine. These early stages are basically not too much of a big deal. They start to get more interesting when you get deeper, because as you get deeper, you find all manner of really interesting and terrifyingly dangerous things. Especially on normal. I've beaten the game, I think, twice on easy, maybe 3 times on easy, and once on normal. And it's much harder in the later areas on normal. Get over here, you stinking worms. There we go. Because the enemies you face start to get a lot stronger a lot faster. So we're going to come down here. Before we go down to the next level, though, we're going to talk quickly about food. So as you see here, we have a food bar, which is getting fairly low. This doesn't become important until it's less than empty. Because the way food works is, every time you take an action, you use up some of your hunger. Every time you eat something, you regenerate some hunger. And until you're down to 0 food, you don't have any real penalties from having low food. When you do hit 0, though, you start to get some nasty status problems, you start to lose some of your stats, and you start to have the various associated issues. The big thing about that is, once it gets down to a certain point, you will die. And that's not good either. Generally, getting food isn't too hard, because you can find some across the world, but sometimes the game just doesn't give any to you. There's a bunch of things that count as food, and you can see specifically what it does by clicking this icon. It highlights everything that's edible. And one of the interesting things is that some of these food items are basically meant to be advance to better food items. We have a couple things here. I'll sort this here. No, didn't help. We have war bread, we have raw meat. We can eat these as they are, but we can also use them by cooking them later to make better foods, whereas things like these food pellets and Sol food rations don't actually have anything better you can do with them. So we're going to eat a bunch of these. We'll eat the food pellets first. We'll eat one of the food rations because they're pretty decent. You can see exactly how much they feed you in the top there. It says 80 food. Do we have 80 food missing? Just about. We have 75 food missing. I'll take another one. And now this thing only gives you one food, but this one increases the amount of XP you get for the next 100 moments, which I believe is the 100 turns, not 100 moves. But I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'm pretty sure it's 100 turns, though. So we're going to eat this before we go down to the next floor, because there's probably going to be a bunch of enemies down there we can fight. Yes, there are. This thing is nasty, a voracious Zool pup, so it's getting a face full of bullets. There we go. Problem solved. We could reload, but that takes an action. So we're going to move over to this guy, and we're going to... I think 2 actions for that pistol. We're going to move over here, and... No, auto pistols are 1 action. That's right. We have been infected from a disease from one of those guys, but that's fine. We're going to murder them all. We're going to come over here and try and open up this weapons locker, because we're always looking for more weapons and more ammo. Getting into these is a big deal, especially early on. And that has a ton of rifle and pistol rounds in it. 150... Wow. 175 rifle rounds, something like that. And a bunch of pistol rounds as well. That's good. We need this ammo because we will be running through it like crazy later on. Our disease worsened. This is what I was waiting for. We're going to burn 1 level of our med kit to make sure it goes away. There we go. And that should mean it doesn't actually come back. We did just level up, which is kind of disappointing to have wasted the heal. But we have a good amount of time before we level up again. So if we can afford to take a bit of damage and do a couple things before we actually get to that stage. Alright. So that guy attacked us while we were opening the door. If the bar gets filled before you get attacked, it doesn't become a problem. So there goes our disease. You can complete the action anyway. But if you get attacked before you get to finish the action, it'll interrupt you and you won't be allowed to finish it in that turn. I'm going to shoot this guy as well. Thank you very much. Oh, this thing's nasty. Proteans are evil. They're one of my least favorite enemies. They're not necessarily dangerous, but if they manage to get close to you, every time they attack you, they dissolve your items. What that means is if it has a durability, like these rifles do, it will take some of the durability off, and your armor and whatnot as well. So you definitely want to kill them as quickly as possible. Not to mention that, if you attack them with a close combat weapon, it takes acid damage, so it gets reduced durability anyway. You basically need to shoot them. And the real problem with them is they get bigger. Alright, I'm going to gun down that maintenance spot over there, and we're going to keep looking around. There's plenty to explore here in the pit. What are we going to find? Hopefully we find some cool stuff soon. There's another rat. Not too worried about him. Now we got a nasty poison from that floor trap, but most of them aren't that bad, so we don't have to worry too much about the poisons that we get from these guys. Can we get into this ammo crate? Hopefully. It's a red one, which means it has better stuff in it, theoretically. It had 60 rifle rounds in it, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, we don't have a rifle still, so that doesn't help us too much. What else can we find here? Anything interesting? Not so far. We had a very, very empty early couple areas. So looking at an extra auto pistol is still nice. Is there anything else here? There is this area over here that I missed. Okay, let's go back over there and check that out, because we are bound to find some nasty things as we go deeper. There's another white trap there. I could just walk through them and see what happens, but like I said, I don't like doing that, so we're just going to avoid them as much as possible. When we get to situations where we have to walk through them, there's a different way that I go around getting through them. We can take out the bindings as well. Surprisingly enough, we haven't found a lab station either, so I haven't been able to discuss lab or cooking or any of those things, but we'll find them eventually, so we'll get to that when we get to it. Alright, nothing else here from the looks of it. I guess we just head down to the next floor. I'm probably going to want to level up fairly soon, but I'd love to take some more damage first, because there's no point in wasting that free heal. Especially not in the early stages, where you can take a lot of damage early on, because your health bar is a lot shorter. There we go. And we'll grab whatever's in this ammo crate, hopefully. Come on, pistol rounds. Yes, and a high energy grenade. That's nice. That's a powerful little thing. So we have a yellow trap here. We could just walk through it and take the damage. We can also close the door again by hitting spacebar if you want. Most enemies can't actually open doors. But what we're going to do is we're just going to knife it till it opens. By clicking on the door, you can knife it anyway. Once it goes dark, you can walk through the trap without it triggering. I find this generally safer than putting yourself up to whatever the fate of it happens to be. This person also has an auto pistol and will shoot us or random things in the room if we let her. So we're going to try and gun her down before she has the opportunity here. The crazed Tarka females. There we go. She's down. Unfortunately, we're going to spend our level up now because I don't really want to waste level 4. There we go. We're going to level up our might again every single time and put points in what we have points in. Foraging, medical, knife. That'll do. Pistol, lockpick, computer, electronics. There we go. Good enough. We'll hold on to these other 2 points. Now, unfortunately, leveling up knife is not very good because there, like I said, are only 2 knives. I don't know why this is its own category, but it is, and the knives stop being effective very soon. So we're probably going to start looking for a blade and leveling up this instead. So I'm actually going to put my 2 points here into blade directly, because once we eventually have a blade, we're going to want to be better than skill 10 at using it. Otherwise, you basically miss all of the time. A crazed medical bot over here. We're going to gun them down as well, because it does take a lot to take them out, and they have big, painful lasers. I don't know if this will kill him outright. Oh, not quite. This is going to hurt. Ouch, I got to shoot again. Didn't hit us, thanks, great, but it did still waste bullets. We can knife all these guys pretty safely, because they don't hurt half as much, or they will, because we won't be taking them out as quickly. Robots, I don't want to have to deal with you either. Get out of here. There we go. A lot of stuff happens in these early floors, but they're very short, which makes getting through them not such a big deal. There we go, gun them all down, reload our pistol, and pick up the goodies we found. Antibodies and optics this time. More rats, more Zoolings. Those guys, though, aren't an issue. More robots could potentially be an issue, so we're going to gun them down. There we go, problem solved. Kill the rats. As we progress through the deeper and deeper floors as well, enemies get more health, so even though they look the same, they're actually harder to kill. Which is good to keep in mind. You can't always use the knife, say, on these rats and one-hit kill them as you get into later levels. That guy took 3 hits, as you saw. Now, this is interesting. We have a medbay here, which has the potential to heal us. This is not a medbay, though. This is an interrogation pod, which means that when we get through it, there we go. It has the potential of doing damage to us, or we just find it. And the rat tried to activate it, apparently, and instantly died, which is unexpected. I haven't ever seen that happen, really. This one, to repair it, since you have low electronic skill, is not going to be fixed. 1% chance of repair. Alright, I can take the hint. We're not getting that one. Oh boy. Floor 5 is probably going to be the last one for this episode. Oh, hello. Hello. Auto pistol. Thank you. Another one. Nope. Those guys are dangerous. These are big security bots. They have guns. They can hurt you. They're not so bad right now, but they do get to be dangerous later on. We've been diseased again, so hopefully that doesn't progress and we'll just go away nicely. But I'd be surprised if it does. More medical bots. Gotta kill them before they laser us into the ground. Ouch. Die. Thank you. Okay. Those guys can be worrying. We definitely don't want to die so early either, which would not be fun. Yellow ammo crate. Not great, but we'll take it. It has shotgun shells and pistol rounds in it. The pistol rounds will be helpful. The shotgun shells may become helpful later. We'll have to wait and see. Now, this is an interesting room. These rooms are almost always dangerous. There's security stations, I believe, and they generally have a lot of robots in them. You can hear robots in there right now. That noise that was just made was a robot making sound. We're going to level up here to go into this room with full health, and we're going to level up our might. It's a penalty because we have level 1 disease right now, but that's not a big problem. Level up our foraging, our knife skill, and all of these: pistol, computer, mechanical, lockpick, and electronics. Because you want these 4 skills for the most part. They get you into a lot of different things, and you need to be able to get access to those things to get more nice things. Hello, robots! What did I tell you? So here's an issue. If we try and fight them like this, they're all going to shoot us, and there's 4 in here. So what we're going to do instead... Oh, the disease worsened. Dang nabbit. We're going to use our medkit again then to... I'll wait. We can take a bit of damage here, and then we can use the medkit that way. Hopefully they'll come to us. No, they're not moving. So we're going to have to shoot at them, and that's going to make them attack us for the most part. We might get lucky and be able to one-shot them. Nope. Ouch. We're going to take some damage then. That didn't hurt too bad because they missed us most of those shots. But we do want to kill off these robots as quickly as possible. It's not such a big deal right now, though, because like I said, we are going to be using our medkit afterwards anyway to make sure we heal up from the disease. So I guess we can afford to tank some of this damage now, as long as we don't get hit too hard by anything else hiding in the room. Now, we could reload and we'll take more damage, but since we have 2 auto pistols, we can just switch to the other one and keep shooting. These guys are nice, though, because they have a tendency to drop ammo. So all that pistol ammo will be helpful later. So we're going to reload our guns so we're not stuck later on, and we're going to use our medkit again to heal up our diseases. There we go. And we can grab all these goodies. You can grab in a 3x3 area around your character, so that's not too bad. Alright, stinking robots. But let I tell you, the security stations are dangerous places. They're full of robots, and as you go, they get full of nastier and nastier robots. Our disease is cured, so that's good, but now we've got to find if we can get into this secure weapons locker as well. Finding a lot of these early on, which could be potentially really good. Come on! Ooh, what's that? A mag pistol. I haven't seen one of those in ages. This is an interesting little gun. It is basically like our auto pistol, except instead of shooting pistol rounds, it uses these flechette rounds. And you may hear some explosion-y sounds going on. Tomorrow is the 1st of July, which in Canada is Canada Day, and that involves a lot of fireworks going off. So there have been a lot of fireworks in the area recently. So you may be hearing that recently, or rather soon. But yeah, basically this is a slightly higher damage pistol that uses different ammunition. So that could be quite good now that we have one, but we need to find more flechette rounds to be able to use it. That's good though, not bad for a start. We use a surveillance console here, potentially. The odds of us actually being able to fix it are pretty low, but we're going to try anyway because losing is not a big deal. We might set off an alarm or get electrocuted, but either way it's not a problem. And we just ruined it, so that's fine. Alright, let's get out of here and see what else we can find. We have a whole other floor left to keep looking through. As you can see, there's a bunch of rooms here that we haven't found. As you progress, the rooms do get significantly larger, which is kind of nice because it means you can find more things in a room, but it also does mean the rooms take a lot longer. So this episode, which is going to be covering 5 floors, is going to be probably a lot more productive than some of the later ones, which might only cover 1 or 2 floors, depending on how deep we are. Either way, we'll keep digging and we'll see what we can find. This pit is bound to have all kinds of good secrets. Now, in case you're not sure why we're here in the first place, the reason we're here is that there's a strange plague going on in the world above, turning everyone into zombies. So we've been told that there might be a cure in this secret alien facility that's been untouched for ages. So we came here and we're trying to figure out what's going on. Now, one day we'll find the cure, hopefully, but we'll have to wait and see if we make it that far. That is up to us. So let's keep going. What else can we find in here? I guess nothing else. We pretty much scoured this place clean. We'll see if we can repair this repair hub, or the charge hub. That'll help you recharge things that use up charges. It doesn't work on medkits, because these are basically like you're taking the materials out of the medkit to heal yourself with them. But it will work with things that actually have like a battery life. Now we can look at it here. We can try and activate the hub, and that'll level up our computer skills. So we're probably going to do that until it breaks, because every time you do it, you get points. But you can see this could be charged 3 times. So we'll be able to activate it 2 more times, I believe. We can activate it again here. We may fail and may get badly electrocuted in trying, but every time we succeed, we get experience, and we level up our computer skill, which is good. Getting those early level ups is very useful, because being able to actually do things is nice. We still can't actually successfully repair that, so we're not going to worry about it. I am going to eat more of my Soul Force rations, though, so we're back up to a better health food situation. Whew! And that's this section done. We've done the first 5 floors of the pit as the scout. I'm not entirely sure how this commentary is going to be appreciated because it is a bit different than the kind of thing I normally do. A lot more wandering around, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you found it interesting, don't forget to leave some comments letting me know what you thought of it. And if you liked it, don't forget to leave a like on it. Of course, if you didn't like it, don't forget to dislike it and let me know why not. Anyhow, this has been Vanguard of Valor playing Sword of the Stars The Pit, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.